right, so we got our factory muffler on, our factory Skidoo turbo. We're going to take some decibel readings on this. Idle, then about 6,500 steady state, 7,500 steady state. Then we're going to do a couple full throttle blips, just kind of see, compare it with other mufflers. See how loud this is compared to some of the aftermarket stuff, and we'll compare it also to a silver turbo. Since many of us have been riding or ridden a silver turbo over the last couple of years, just see how loud this is compared to that. And so we'll start with this, with idle first. All right, there's idle speed. We're idling at about 1,200 RPM here. Out in the snow right at dusk here in Salt Lake City, Utah. A Mount Slater garage. Okay, I'll take it up to 6,500 RPM, let it sit there for a minute, because that's kind of one of the RPMs to kind of cruise on the trails a little bit. And 7,500 to steady state. Then we'll do a couple real full throttle, 8,200 full throttle blips, and just kind of see how much noise this thing makes. Okay, that was 6,500. Now we'll do 7,500. Okay, now a couple full throttles up to 82. Okay, there we have it. We kind of have our starting point. Our baseline is what you may call it, of what stock 850 turbo sound levels are. I don't know exactly how accurate my decimeter gauge is. I bought it off Amazon, but we'll use the same gauge, and it will be the same 20 feet away from each of the mufflers as we test them. So we'll be able to compare one to another to see what the decibel readings are compared to one to another. So stick around. We're going to test these other ones, and we're going to see what they're like. We got our 850 turbo, got the straight pipe on it that I made. We're going to compare this with the stock muffler. First, we're just going to get an idle decibel reading. Okay, now that's the idle, just sitting here idling on the stand. Next thing we're gonna do, take it to 6,500 RPM and then 7,500, then a couple short, real full throttle blips. All right, there you go. Full throttle. We were hitting about 8,200 RPM there. All right, now we got the Bikeman muffler on. That was designed for the 850 turbo. We're gonna see how it compares to the other mufflers. I've already run this a little bit. I really like the way that it sounds. It's not too loud, has a nice crisp sound to it. We're gonna go ahead and put the side panel on. We're gonna do the same revs with this one as the other mufflers. Little idle run, 6,500, 7,500, and then a couple of wide open throttle blips. All right, so that's idle. Teeny bit louder than stock, not a lot. Sounds pretty good. Sounds just like stock, mostly at idle speed. So now we're going to do the 6,500, then the 7,500. Yeah, 6,500 and 7,500. Now we're going to do a couple of wide opens around 8,000 RPM. Not too loud. We'll have to check the decibel readings compared to the other mufflers, and we'll do a little graph with those. Okay, so now we're going to test the Diamond S muffler, full titanium muffler. See how it compares in sound to the other snowmobiles. Now we've taken the heat shield off the downpipe, so it looks a little bit different, but that's the same. Diamond S, real nice titanium, great welds. Have a little food heater on there. Now we're going to test the same as the others. Idle, 6,500 RPM, 7,500 RPM, then full throttle. So first we got our idle speed here, about 1,200 RPM. Now we're going to run up to 6,500, then 7,500. That's 6,500. That's 7,500. Now we'll do full throttle. All right, having the tracks thrown out a little debris, but that was good. I hit the rep limiter a little bit on that first little full throttle run. So there we have it. Now we're going to go back on the board and we'll compare everything. Since we're comparing a factory Skidoo turbo mufflers, I'm going to throw in this silver turbo here, just as a comparison, just to see kind of, most people are probably, if you bought a Skidoo turbo, factory turbo, you've probably been around a silver turbo and you kind of know how loud they are, kind of what they sound like. So we're going to throw this in here just for a comparison. We'll do the same test we did with the other ones, just to kind of compare and see what this sounds like compared to what the factory turbo stuff sounds like. Okay, we got our idle speed. Then we're gonna do like the other ones, the 6,500, the 7,500, then the wide open. Got our tether hooked up like we did on the other ones, just in case this falls off the stand. It's not gonna, hopefully not gonna go through my fence into my neighbor's yard, so. Okay, that was 6,500. That was 7,500. Now we'll do the wide open ones. All right, so there we go. Silver turbo. It's a 2020 Expert with the silver turbo on it. Still, after testing all these, I still like the way the Bikeman sounds. The Bikeman sounds a lot like the straight through, other than it's a little quieter. All right, so now that we've tested all of our mufflers on our 850 turbo, we're going to look at some of the data that we collected. RPM down here, decibels up here, and then we charted out in different colors the five different ones, including the silver turbo that we tested on our 850 turbo. So as you can see, the black line being the stock muffler, definitely the quietest throughout the RPM range. This blue, which is the straight pipe, being on top, definitely the loudest. And it was interesting to see that right here in the middle, this middle ground here, pretty much the 5,000 to 7,500 RPM range, they're all pretty close, only within 5 or 6 decibels of each other, which is pretty amazing. But once you got over 7,500 RPM, they really kind of widened out, especially the straight pipe that got clear up here over almost 125 decibels. So depending on which muffler you choose, will depend kind of how noisy it is, how big the suitcase is on it, how much that's going to absorb the sound before it comes out. There's a number of different companies making mufflers out there for these, probably at least a dozen, if not more. You got titanium, you got stainless steel, you got regular steel that's coated, a lot of different options to choose from. The other thing you have to decide, which if you search the internet there's a lot of question out there whether or not it's going to void your factory warranty to put a muffler on your 850 turbo. I don't have a good answer for it. I'm personally not worried about it because the 850 motor has been pretty bulletproof. Put a number of turbos on 850 normally aspirated sleds over the last couple of years, and they have been pretty much bulletproof as long as you put good fuel in them. And we're running 7-8 pounds of boost in these, where the factory turbo is only running 3 pounds of boost. So I think whether you run a can or not, I don't think it's going to affect anything with the livelihood of your motor, how long it lasts, or reliability. The main thing to do if you're worried about a can, talk to the dealer you bought your sled from, see what their recommendation is. and just go whatever they recommend if you're worried about it. The other thing is, other than sound, is the weight of these things. You know, as I put weights over here next to the ones, the stock muffler weighs about 16.5 pounds. The lightest thing being the straight pipe was about just over 1 pound, or 2 pounds at 2.1 pounds. The Diamond S, 3.4 pounds, which is about almost half what the Bikeman was at 7 pounds, which titanium generally weighs about half what steel weighs. So that makes sense. The Bikeman, or the Diamond S can weighs half what this Bikeman can weighs. So you're going to, any can you're going to buy is kind of probably, unless it's titanium, is going to be in this probably 7 pound range, to where you're going to lose probably about 10 pounds of weight off your sled when you add a can to it. Now, I have a couple other cans over here. There's a couple other things I wanted to show you before we finish off this video today. Is a few more cans out there. This is the Jaws can. I think they call this their Rowdy can. And you can see how small this muffler is. I mean, it's only a little bit bigger than the 3-inch pipe the can's made with. This is going to be a really loud muffler, probably really close to what my straight pipe was. All made of stainless steel. Nice can. Jaws makes a great product. Another can out there, which is similar to the Jaws, is this Speedworks can. It's similar. You see how small the can part of it is. Another one that's going to be real loud, probably real close to the straight pipe. And then the other can I really wanted to show you, which is really an interesting one, is the one from HPS. This is really nice. It comes with a new downpipe, which is this part right here. The stock downpipe comes out over here. This one tucks the can in farther this way. Allows you to put in this nice bag here. You can put goggle holders in, or other things that you want to keep warm next to the can. Really a nice setup that HPS has. I took this picture at the snow show back at the end of October. I called them about a month ago, and they said it wasn't quite available yet. I would hope to be available at the beginning of the new year. So you can call them and see if you want to check on the HPS can. They've always been real known for making a real great product. I know some people have asked about what my straight pipe looks like. This is my straight pipe here that I made. Just a couple of bends and goes straight out the bottom. Not the prettiest thing I ever made, but I kind of made it quickly out of just some parts I had laying around in the garage. I hope this has been helpful for you. You can pick out a can of your choice. So many manufacturers out there. If you like these videos, make sure you subscribe on the YouTube page and you get new videos. We'll probably drop a video once a week or so. The video I've been wanting to do for the Skidoo guys is, I have the Bikeman stage 1, 2, 3, and 4 tunes for my 850 turbo. I wanted to do a side-by-side comparison with those tunes compared to a stock sled, to just see what each tune does, how much benefit it gives you. Unfortunately, our snow here in Utah hasn't been cooperating. Our snowpack right now is about 50% of what it should be this time of year. And we still got a lot of rocks and stumps and logs laying in the snow, and we barely got over 20 inches in most areas in Utah, which is really, really bad for this time of year. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll be able to get that video done. So check back for that video, the Bikeman Stage 2. We're also going to test the Bikeman turbo pipe probably sometime in February, to see how that improves the performance of your 850 turbo. So be safe out there on the mountain, and good night from Mountain Sledder Garage.